Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Mariane Pinkston. I am Dr. Pinkston, and today I have a special announcement. I'm so excited. I want you guys to go check out my new website. Go to drpbetterlife.com. There you will find a lot of information, including all of the platforms for my podcast and my YouTube channel, plus the radio show, which airs on 930 The Answer, KLUP here in San Antonio and South Texas. And also, I would like for you guys to know, we're going to talk today a little bit about insulin resistance and why people are gaining weight so much these days. I'll get into that in just a minute. But on top of that, I'd like for you to know I am doing a weight loss clinic now, and you can reach me at Start Now at betterlifeweightloss.com. That's Start Now at betterlifeweightloss.com. You can reach me there and find out more information about how we're doing weight loss. I am prescribing the weight loss injections, so to speak. And those injections have been very popular lately. They have a lot of myth and controversy behind them, and a lot of those things I can eliminate for you and explain. The reason why I have taken on that as a kind of a passion at this point is because, I lost 171 pounds in the past few years. It's been 6 years now that I've maintained my weight loss and, have become a much healthier person. So weight loss is something I am very passionate about, but it goes a little bit deeper than just weight. So, if you look at a photo from the 1970s, take a photo of people on the beach in the 1970s, everybody was very thin, not really so much in shape, but, very trim and very healthy weight. You take a picture of the beach now, and everybody is either significantly overweight or honestly obese. And you have to look at the fact that's been, 40 years difference. So what changed? If you go to I know one day I was sitting at the airport and, watching people walk by, and it is the norm to be overweight or obese. I'm watching TV lately. I noticed that on TV we are seeing commercials where they are advertising, you are beautiful as you are. And, all of those things are true. But underneath, we really have a very serious health problem. And if you look at our children, they are facing the fact that they may die at a younger age than what our generation, my generation, generations above me are dying. And that is very frightening. Heart disease, cancer, all the diseases that are born from being overweight and having an unhealthy body. So what it comes down to is insulin resistance, or what I call metabolic inflammation or meta-inflammation. And the reason that this has appeared is due to the industry. So, I think when patients come to me and they ask to lose weight, they say they don't have willpower. They're doing everything that they know to do and cannot lose weight, and that they blame themselves. I know that, I'm eating well, I'm doing everything I can. And, honestly, most people are not doing everything that they can. But for those who really are putting in the effort, they are hitting a point where they'll lose, 20 pounds, and then all of a sudden they stop, get discouraged, and then turn around and gain 30 or 40 back and just keep going up and up and up. And there is a very legitimate reason for this to happen. The industry, the same industry that is trying to make us healthy and lose weight, is the same industry that is killing us from underneath. Back in, I think it was about the mid-90s or so, if you remember, Oprah went after the beef industry, and then we decided that fat is bad for you. So we turned around and added carbs and sodium into our foods. Remember SnackWell's cookies and, boxed foods and, lowering our fat intake. When that happened, we took on a higher carbohydrate load. Then we also took on a lower protein load as well. Then the nation decided we were going to save the world. Remember the song, Save the World, and everybody is, starving overseas and in Africa. We genetically modified our foods. So we genetically modified wheat and corn, soy, peanuts, all those crops. And so when you were a kid, if you're my age and you were a kid, you may remember that peanut butter at school was not a big deal. Now you can't even take peanut butter to school. You can barely get, peanuts on a plane anymore. And it's because of those genetic modifications. Everybody that is allergic to gluten now, we, did not used to have gluten allergies. That changed with genetic modifications of food in the mid 90s or so. On top of that, then we used the excess corn. We really overgrew corn. Those genetic modifications allowed us to make bigger heads of corn, grow out of season, things like that. When we did that, then we had a large supply of corn, and in order to subsidize the farmers, we made high fructose corn syrup out of it, added that instead of sugar, and that created the carbohydrate addiction underneath. McDonald's started to supersize. Okay, so you see the downfall of all of the industry in affecting us from a hormone perspective. So when we became more addicted to carbohydrates, the hormone balances in our brain changed. We started to crave carbohydrates or salty, crunchy things, sweet things. And that is from that type of genetic modification and effects on our body and the high fructose corn syrup affecting our dopamine reward system. That's why we are addicted as we would be to heroin or cocaine. Carbohydrates affect the same area of reward in the brain as cocaine and heroin do. So all of these factors have led us to eat more than we should, eat the wrong types of foods, and gain all this weight and not be able to, remove it effectively like we could in the past. We just decreased our calories a little bit, got out for a walk more often, weight came off. That is not what happens anymore. So in essence, yes, there may be some fault in your ability to eat well. You do need to afford some willpower for it, but really in the end, it really isn't all your fault. So insulin resistance, when you look at the body and you have the fat that is on the front of the abdomen and, your waist circumference is growing and you are, more than 30 pounds overweight, sometimes 100 pounds, all of this affects the inflammation and hormones in your body that try to keep you healthy and prevent heart disease and cancer. So when you are insulin resistant, then, you're not quite diabetic yet. In my mind, I always tell my patients, you're either pregnant or you're not. Insulin resistance and diabetes, in my mind, are the same thing. Diabetes is just a later stage, more serious stage of it. But insulin resistance starts way back, even when you go to your doctor and your doctor says, well, your hemoglobin A1C is normal, you don't have diabetes. But if you have a blood sugar over 85, if you have an insulin level over 10, if your triglycerides are elevated and your bad cholesterol LDL is elevated, if you have a larger waist and your waist circumference, all of those are factors that tell you are metabolically inflamed or insulin resistant. So in that, we have to look at treating that in order to get your body to lose weight again or want to lose weight, where your efforts will actually work. There's another problem underneath, and I think in the future, if somebody hasn't coined this term yet, then you're hearing it first from me. Because in doing this weight loss clinic and in my own weight loss journey, I have learned that not only are we insulin resistant, but we are also GLP or GIP or peptide resistant. There is a peptide in our body. There's several peptides actually, but there is a peptide in our body that we make in order to control those appetite feeds. It helps us to control the balance of our hunger versus, our body telling us we're no longer hungry, or that tells us to crave certain things, but also handles how we process sugars that we consume in our bodies. And it's called GLP. There's another one called GIP. When semaglutide or Ozempic or Wegovy or, that medicine started to become so popular, it's because it is the same peptide, the GLP peptide, that our bodies make. And we are making it, but like insulin, we become resistant to this peptide as well. Once we're resistant, we have to give the body back just a little bit more, raise those levels so that our body begins to listen to the peptide again. Once we get that stabilized, then our efforts begin to work. Then our cravings subside, our appetite is better. Our efforts begin to work. We begin to lose weight. Our blood sugars stabilize, not drop, but stabilize. And then our bodies are actually doing what it's performing the way it's supposed to perform. So these medications and this medication has been out for, I don't know, probably 20 years. The peptide has been around forever. I mean, it's part of our bodies, so it's been around forever. The compounding pharmacy industry has been able to make these peptides for a very long time, produce them and give them to us. It's just that the pharmaceutical industry grabbed hold of this information, started making their own versions, and then put that out on the market, got FDA approval, put that out on the market. Now, all of a sudden, we're controlling diabetes, we are losing weight, but the industry has taught now the insurance, like the pharmaceutical industry and the FDA has, told the insurance industry and patients that you have to have diabetes in order to take these medications. That is absolutely not true. My thought is, why wait until you have diabetes, the later stages of insulin resistance, to get your body back, to get your appetite under control, to get the weight off, make yourself more healthy? When you have insulin resistance or you go all the way into diabetes, you are doing the same thing. You're inflamed. You're putting cholesterol inside of your arteries. You're hardening the arteries. You're, causing so much inflammation. You develop early stages of cancer that you can't fight. You have autoimmune diseases. I mean, all these factors are happening, and you do not have to have the official diagnosis of diabetes. But the industry, FDA, pharmaceutical industry, insurance industry says you have to have those later stages to get the medication. So if we could get the insurance industry they're very expensive. So if we could get the insurance industry to cover these medications, then I think we could stop the onslaught of obesity and allow people to live their normal life, eat well, their efforts actually begin to work. When your efforts work, when you're eating well and exercising, the weight is coming off, you're more motivated, your energy's better, your health is better overall, everybody's better for it. We decrease the incidences of death and disease down the road. It just makes too much sense, which is exactly why it's not covered, because it makes too much sense and saves lives. So, that is why now the compounding industry is making these medications, and doctors are using, prescriptions to try to help patients. This is why I'm doing it, is to try to help patients get their lives back and improve their health with something our bodies make, and delivering doses of it that are just above where we're supposed to have it in order to make your body function appropriately. It just makes too much sense. I've learned a lot of things with the medication as well. So there are a lot of myths and information out there that I think the industry is using to deter people from getting these prescriptions from their doctor. And, they're saying the Wegovy face or Ozempic face or, so many other issues, GI side effects, things like that. Actually, those are things, the Wegovy face or Ozempic face is when patients lose weight and you're a little bit older, your skin is a little bit more saggy. It doesn't bounce back as fast as it would when you were younger. So you look a little more wrinkled, a little older. Here I am, for instance, 54. I lost weight from 48 really quickly. Skin didn't bounce back as well. But there are ways of getting around that. And you shouldn't let things like that intimidate you. I had diabetes, now I don't. I had high blood pressure, now I don't. I had cancer, now I don't. And these are the hopes that I can take care of myself, live a lot longer, and help you now do exactly the same thing. We've learned a lot from the peptides. I've learned a lot about weight loss in the last years, and I think the way that we focus on it as an industry for probably the last 20 years is just to find a pill or a solution that is just really quick. If I just, slam on my appetite for a while, I'll lose, 20, 30 pounds or more, and we'll do that in 3 to 6 months. And, I dropped 20 pounds in a month. And, all of these ways of thinking are very dangerous, because when we drop weight with other, medications really quickly like that, most of the time we are losing muscle, not actually losing fat. We're not doing anything to change our lifestyle underneath. We're not doing anything to look forward into the future to see how we can improve our lives overall and maintain that weight loss. And with my clinic that I'm doing now, I'm trying to get people to get the weight off, but also transition into more of a lifestyle modification that will last you the rest of your life, and that you can maintain this weight loss and get better results for your health overall. And to try to coach people to lose that, I need to lose weight, 60 pounds before the wedding next month. It just doesn't happen that way. And I've got to get, patients and people to look at weight loss in a very, very different way. Having been through it and experienced it on my own, I'm telling you, there's a way to do it very successfully, but you definitely need somebody to coach you through it. There are a lot of programs, out there, doctors, practitioners, who are prescribing the medications, but they're not giving you the coaching underneath from any experience whatsoever or any improved amounts of education. I have studied this for 16 years now and, feel like I've got a great grasp on it. And definitely I spend time, it's an after hours clinic. It's all about telemedicine and Zoom. And I do this from about 5 o'clock in the afternoon to about 10 o'clock at night, almost every business day. And it's wearing me out, but I love it. I'm extremely passionate about it because since January when we started this, my patients have lost over 1,200 pounds collectively. And that, my friends, is treating people right. I've got a little bit more I'll say after the break. I'm going to take a short break, but I do need to review with you guys somebody who's been very good to me for the past year and a half, and that is Pinnacle Research. So Pinnacle Clinical Research is what they used to be. They are now Pinnacle Research Texas, and they are a research clinic designed to study the effects of liver disease, which with obesity and being overweight is rampant, especially in South Texas. Fatty liver, you've heard of that. Non-alcoholic, everybody associates fatty liver with alcoholism, but there is a non-alcoholic fatty liver type that occurs with just being obese, high cholesterol, and things like that. You don't feel it, you don't know you have it, and it is a killer ultimately. So here's another reason to lose weight and consider doing a weight loss program like mine. You go to pinnacleresearch.com. You can get a free FibroScan, and that FibroScan takes about 7 minutes maybe. It's like an ultrasound, no needles, no radiation. You can get the results instantaneously, and then you can find a program that works for you, and their doctors and staff all will guide you on that. They've been very good to me. Thanks, Pinnacle. I appreciate you very much. And we will have Dr. Patil on the show in the next couple of weeks to talk more about it. I am also going to send you to my website, drpbetterlife.com. That is my new website. And take a look and see if you can find information for you and your family, information on me, but also on the show, all the podcast and YouTube platforms for more information, and almost 100 other shows. We will be back in just a moment.
Fatty liver is linked to two different situations, alcohol and diabetes or obesity. In both cases, patients can have no symptoms. In the United States, and in particular, Texas, the most common cause of liver disease in general is non-alcoholic fatty liver. Again, associated with overweight, obesity, and/or diabetes. Additional risk factors include high cholesterol, high blood pressure, Hispanic ethnicity, and postmenopausal status. At Pinnacle Clinical Research, we offer a quick, non-invasive ultrasound-based screening assessment called FibroScan. This test is done at no cost to you, and we do not take insurance. The test will measure the fat and stiffness in your liver and stage your risk and development of fatty liver disease. You will meet with a provider immediately following your scan to go over your results. If you're interested in getting more information on your liver health, please call 210-982-0320 and schedule your FibroScan today. We are conveniently located in the Medical Center at 5109 Medical Drive.
Welcome back, everybody, and I'm Dr. Mariane Pinkston, and we are talking about insulin resistance and obesity, weight loss, and all those good things. And I've been talking about the fact that I do have a weight loss clinic, but I feel I am doing it better and the right way to try to coach people through a permanent amount of weight loss. And you can go to Start Now at betterlifeweightloss.com. And that is actually not a website, that is an email. So Start Now at betterlifeweightloss.com. And that is the email where you will reach me specifically, and I will guide you as to the program. And the reason that I've taken it on is because of my success story in weight loss. And I feel like it's a permanent weight loss at this point. You know, my body is completely different than it used to be. When you are inflamed and your, body is using its sugars inappropriately, it's storing it into fat, when your hormones are off, there's a whole constellation of problems that are, brought together to give you the difficulties of dropping your weight and getting your body back. But it definitely is possible. You need somebody who knows what they're doing and somebody who can coach you through it. And that is what I'm trying to provide in a concierge style one-on-one fashion, which is unheard of these days. But I'm very passionate about this, and I definitely want people to be more healthy. When part of what I was some of the point I was trying to get across today is the fact that you don't have to be diabetic to finally proclaim yourself as, sick, or allow the insurance industry or the FDA to tell you that you have to wait until you develop diabetes in order to get help. Once you develop diabetes, it's too late. That is the end stage. And that is something that then usually people by the time they're diagnosed have already been diabetic 5 to 8 years. And ultimately you have heart disease and, cancers and other diseases, kidney disease, eye disease, blindness, things like that are developing. And there is a way to get at that much, much sooner. And if we can do your laboratory and determine just from your sugar and triglycerides, from your insulin levels, from your abdominal circumference, just the fact that you crave and eat poorly and can't, deter your willpower to eat correctly, those are all the factors that tell you that you are insulin resistant underneath, and there is an effective way to treat it. A lot of patients come to me and ask me for things like phentermine or other, medications in order to lose weight, and I refuse to do them. First of all, they're controlled, but these medications actually affect the same part of your brain as do the opioids or narcotics like hydrocodone or morphine or things like that, heroin, fentanyl, all those things. And it does curb appetite. You think about somebody using methamphetamines, that curbs their appetite, but they aren't any healthier for it. And it actually is very damaging to the brain and the body. It does not cure the underlying inflammatory issues. It does not help stabilize the hormones in the body. It does not help stabilize the blood sugars. They only last temporarily about 8 to 12 weeks. And once that is gone, the effect is gone. You can still take it, but the effect is gone. You no longer lose weight. You haven't done anything to change your underlying lifestyle, your underlying disease process and inflammatory process. You stop the medication, you gain all of it back, you go right back to where you were. This type of thinking has got to stop. Actually, the same thing happens when you do things like keto diets and plant-based diets and things like that. Nothing against them. They are effective tools that you can use to assist yourself. And again, it's a tool, but it is not a lifestyle. And most of the time when patients take on, keto diet, plant-based diet, they lose weight. I heard a lady tell me yesterday her husband lost like 40 pounds in 2 months. And I told her, I said, bring him over and let's do his muscle percentage and his fat percentage, and let's see what he's really made of. And you will see that that is definitely not fat that was lost. And so now he's skinny fat, right? And not healthier for it whatsoever. Labs won't improve. That is just, plant-based diets are okay in the sense that they help reduce allergens and do help reduce some of your numbers or whatnot, but it doesn't help your muscle balance and your metabolism long term. So, there are a lot of myths out there. Patients look to the internet. They look to some self-proclaimed specialist online, some doctor, nurse, or some, health coach or somebody who claims to be a specialist in weight loss and nutrition. Really, they have no underlying certification whatsoever. And I think sometimes we study and watch things that solidify our own opinions. Most of the time, those are incorrect. You need to find somebody who really really knows what they are doing. And that is what I'm hoping to provide. So go to Start Now at betterlifeweightloss.com. And when I say go to, it is an email. Start Now at betterlifeweightloss.com. Email me and let me know that you want to take a look at the program, and we will get it started. It is not cheap, but your health is absolutely worth it. What you are spending right now on things that are harming your health and some of the luxuries that you could give up for a small moment in order to make yourself healthier for you and your family is something that you could place, and then you can place into the program. You can afford it. It is definitely worth it. So I'm going to direct you over to my website. My new website is drpbetterlife.com. There you can find all of the information on my platforms for my podcast. I've been with KLUP 2 years now and have done over 100 shows. There's a lot to look at and a lot of great people that I've spoken with. I would love to have you go visit, see any podcast platform, YouTube, and also join me on Sundays at 4 p.m. on the radio. You can hear me here in South Texas with KLUP and 930 The Answer. Also on the website, there's a lot of links to some of the past guests who have a lot of great information for you, also to their websites and to some of the other websites of products and things that I like, and some relationships that I value. So please go take a look. You can also find information on Pinnacle Research to get a free fibroscan at pinnacleresearch.com, and also at PD Labs, another sponsor of mine, pdlabsrx.com, who have a lot of great health and information. They do help me with these prescriptions and whatnot, and have sponsored the show as well. So we will be talking a lot more about weight loss in the future. I've got some great guests that are coming up, and I hope you'll join us. Go to drpbetterlife.com for past shows, and thank you guys very much. Have a great week.